want to welcome all of you to the Lean and Green Michigan Pace in the New Year update webinar. We like to do a recap in January of what we saw in the previous year and kind of what we're anticipating seeing this next year. If 2022 is anything like 2021, we'll be horribly wrong in all kinds of wonderful ways. So, hopefully we'll have a great year and it will be fun to see the changes come through. So, just to get started with introductions, my name is Todd Williams. I'm President and General Counsel of Lean and Green Michigan. With me today is Mary Freeman, our owner and outreach specialist, Aaron Pattinson, our Associate Counsel, and Christian Koch, our External Affairs Manager. I'm thankful to all of them, as well as a number of other individuals, for a really great year last year. It was a lot of hard work, and we accomplished far more than I think we anticipated accomplishing at the beginning of the year. But we're dreaming big for the new year. Feel free, if you ever need us, to reach out to any of our team. More contact info later in the slide deck. We're definitely always available on our website. So just a quick reminder, something that we're always proud of, the number of jurisdictions that have enabled PACE. PACE started in Michigan back with the Property Access Clean Energy Act way back in 2010. To date, we've got 49 counties, cities, and townships which have enabled PACE and joined the Lean and Green Michigan marketplace all across Michigan. I think at this point we cover about 76% of Michiganders, and we believe we cover a little higher percentage of commercial property. So we're always proud of where we're at, always proud of the jurisdictions that we work with. So, looking backwards into 2021, we'll cover what were a few of our major goals last year, particularly around outreach and the exciting trends that we saw with PACE in Michigan and with a little bit of project data. So, outreach was one of our largest goals at the beginning of this past year. Lise Matz had joined us in November of 2019. Mary Freeman joined us in, I believe, July, if I'm remembering correctly, to take up the goal of actually reaching out to every one of our 49 member jurisdictions, as well as any new jurisdictions, economic development groups, trade partners across the state of Michigan, as well as property owners and lenders that we deal with and contact and talk with on a regular basis. I am extremely proud of the work that Elise and that Mary accomplished this past year. We've actually reached out to every one of our jurisdictions, had great conversations with 36 of them, had follow-up conversations with 35 different economic development groups. And I know, between Mary Freeman and myself and the rest of the team, we've done over 40 presentations about PACE to jurisdictions and economic development groups and other organizations around Michigan. We're really here to talk about PACE, to be informative about PACE, and to help explain PACE. We're happy to present anywhere, and 40 presentations last year. I'd love to see that same number this next year. So we definitely want to hear from you. And if you are one of our member jurisdictions, I promise you'll be hearing from us again in 2022. So kudos to the team. This was a major goal of ours last year, and something I'm extremely proud of us for accomplishing. So, feel free always to contact us, and we'll be contacting you. The most exciting thing for PACE, and something that we realized a little late in the year for us, was that we sometimes get a little too bogged down in the dollar amounts of projects that have been financed or the number of projects being financed. And sometimes we don't think about where those projects are being financed. And last year we had an incredible year. The first time we've ever had projects in 12 separate jurisdictions across Michigan. 7 jurisdictions closed their first project last year. We'll have data or case studies on a few of them coming up, but it was incredible to see PACE continuing to spread across Michigan and close in new areas. So Ottawa County was actually the only jurisdiction to join Lean and Green Michigan last year. They enabled PACE in order to support a project. So we're super excited to see PACE continuing to spread. A lot of people think Lean and Green Michigan just, is probably just focusing on the big counties and in Wayne County and Ingham County. We're not. We're here to service all of our jurisdictions, and we love when a jurisdiction gets to close their first project. So it was real fun last year, though maybe a little bit more windshield time than we thought there would be. The other thing that we saw last year that we had no expectation of, I'm pretty sure if we dig out the recording of this presentation in January of 2021, we would not have mentioned senior living facilities. And so we saw interest come into Michigan and pace with senior living facilities, and closed 5 of them. There's actually a few more in our pipeline still. Again, I think the more exciting aspect of this is the amount of spread. 2 of these projects are actually in Wayne County. One's in Macomb County. Quincy Place is the one we'll talk about a little bit more in Ottawa County. And there was another one in Grand Traverse County. I'm just looking at the pictures and getting distracted. Sorry about that. So, we saw an interest in senior living that we have never seen as an asset class prior to 2021. And we saw projects close all around the state of Michigan. It's great. There is definitely a need for new senior living and better senior living facilities. And, we're proud, that PACE could help bring these projects to territories that weren't there. We also saw, a couple of unique projects, in school conversions, which we'll talk about. But we saw great activity in hospitality and traditional retrofits, commercial properties, as well as PACE Express and a few of the smaller projects focused on solar. And so, we'd love to see that continue on. But the real surprise this past year was the brand new asset class of senior living facilities. Talking about a little bit of the gaudy numbers, we are very proud of what we've accomplished. 57 projects to date since 2015. I can tell you 22 of those came last. We've done $179 million of PACE financings across Michigan, which is a number that sometimes you get a little too hung up on, but it is impressive to me. It is the amount of money, private investment that is coming in to our Michigan building stock and helping to improve Michigan properties, making them more environmentally friendly, making them more energy efficient. And so we are very proud of the number. Last year, $105 million over 22 projects. Equally exciting to me, is the jobs created and the amount of kilowatt hours and CO2 savings that you can see up on the screen. Every project that we do is an investment being made into a Michigan property. It's an investment being made into Michigan. And so we love to thank our PACE lenders who've come into the market and have closed projects. Last year, we saw a record 6 separate lenders make investments in Michigan over those 22 projects. And so it is, great joy that we have closed so many projects around the state, and so many of them this past year. Give a little bit of a thumbnail sketch, of how the projects have kind of continued to grow over time, both the number of projects and how we've grown, and the amount invested in Michigan over the years. 2015 is the first project we have ever closed with PACE financing in Lean and Green Michigan. And you can see 2021 was by and large our best year for number of projects and the best year for the amount of investment being made. We don't anticipate seeing this slow down, but we'll get to my optimism later on. Overall, we thought it was a wonderful year. We're thankful for our economic development partners, our member jurisdictions, and our PACE lenders, and accomplishing so much to improve the building stock in Michigan. So I did want to highlight, and I'm a sucker for highlighting a couple of our favorite projects over the years. So you'll have to put up with just a few slides on some of our favorite projects. The Upper Decker project in Escanaba is actually our first project ever in the UP. It is a wonderful old building in downtown Escanaba. They got a $250,000 project project done, doing a little bit of work inside of the building, as well as adding solar to the rooftop. Pace Loan Group provided the financing. G Energy actually provided the energy audit. And it was great to finally get over the bridge and to close the project in the UP. We're hoping to see more of these projects this upcoming year. Particularly, we think the UP is ripe for solar projects. We know the energy rates up there are a little high, so it would be great to see a few more of these projects done. Treetops Resorts, a very well-known resort in Gaylord, Michigan, and a project that has been one of our longest projects to get to a point of closing. I think it's important, and I don't ever mean it in the negative way. This project really took time to develop, really took time for it to mature to when it was the right moment for the property owner to make the investment. It was a long-term process of them reviewing their property and wanting to make improvements and needing to find the right time frame and the right partners. And we're here, whether your project wants to close in 6 weeks or whether you're just starting to think of a project that might be 2 years away. We don't mind. We're here to help assist with that. The Treetops project overall is a wonderful project, massive upgrade to multiple buildings on their property, including interior and exterior LED lighting, building controls, HVAC, insulation. It is just a wonderful all-around project, and we would recommend it. You guys going up to stay for golf, or now that the winter has turned, going up to stay for some skiing. $2.9 million financed, and they expect to save 1.4 net over the life of the loan. So first project in Otsego County. And project being financed by Inland Green Capital. So really excited to get that one done. It was one of our earliest projects in 2021, but still one of our favorites of all time. So Quincy Place Senior Living. I know we mentioned this a little bit earlier. This is Quincy Place should not be Traverse City. We got a slight error on there. Quincy Place is actually Ottawa County. Yep, sorry, we've got a couple of typos on this slide. This project was actually the reason that Ottawa County joined and enabled PACE is a new construction senior living facility that is being built above code. It will be just a beautiful facility. They've went to make it as truly energy efficient and the best building they possibly could. The property owner and developer has actually utilized PACE in other jurisdictions, other states, and in looking to bring their investment into Michigan, they wanted to make sure that they could build with PACE here. It's a great example of new construction, of PACE playing an important element within a very large, very complicated capital stack. It's a great investment in Ottawa County and for now and for the foreseeable future, bringing new jobs, a new asset to the county, and really, we're excited to work with and partner with Ottawa County moving forward. Hopefully, we'll see more of their projects coming soon. So, one other trend that we saw that we did not anticipate, we had 2 projects close relatively quickly together that are conversions of old school buildings that have been derelict and empty for a large number of years. And so Plymouth Schoolhouse Loss of Plymouth conversion into multifamily of an ancient building, and only a small portion of the overall project was financed with PACE. The amount financed $150,000, but it was a great project, and it was interesting in that it came in wholly separate from 1030 Holmes, which was another schoolhouse conversion in Lansing in Ingham County. This one, a little bit larger of a PACE project, but the building itself had been empty, I believe, for about a decade, really just kind of a weight on the neighborhood, and the developers are going in and converting it into multifamily and just repurposing a great old building and bringing it back to life. But they wanted to do it in a manner that was energy efficient and best use for their tenants. So HVAC, LED lighting, wall insulation, and windows all throughout the building. little over 800,000 financed. They anticipate, saving a little over 3 million over 25 years. So, we're super excited to see school buildings being brought back to life, being repurposed and used for, a new purpose. So that was kind of some of the highlights for 2021. I think we've accomplished an awful lot. I'm sure I've forgotten to mention any number of things, but we're very proud of everything that we did in 2021, from the awards to the new jurisdictions to the projects in new territories. And we're really excited to see PACE continue on in 2022. Couple of new things coming up, new address and a new website, new projects, new jurisdictions, and hopefully new legislation. We've got a lot of random things moving at one time right now. So we will have a new home. We'll have it as of February 1st. We've been without office space for a few months as we've looked around. While we loved our time in Eastern Market, our lease came up, and we decided to look around for a building that would better suit our needs and give us the ability to continue to grow if need be. Amazingly, we found the Detroit Masonic Temple, which is a incredibly unique building. I'd highly recommend that you take one of their tours they offer on Sundays to see just an incredible gem of a building in Detroit. It's actually one of the world's largest Masonic buildings, built just in an incredible manner years ago with wonderful finishes. They had some office space, and so we'll actually be on the 6th floor, just about where the star is, maybe a floor down, right in that corner. And we hope to see you as the pandemic allows, and we hope to see you at the office, maybe this year, depending on how things go. We might be able to open our doors back up and have a holiday party at our new office location to show it off. Coupled with this, we are currently working on bringing new life and updating our website. It's been a project now for a couple of months, and it's one that we think will be accomplished before the end of the first quarter. But we're excited to not only have a new physical home, but also to have a new digital home that we think will make PACE, our website, make PACE a little bit more accessible and understandable for everybody. So we look forward to seeing you. We'll definitely be sending notice letters to a number of you with our new address. The PO box that we have, we will be maintaining as well. So hopefully all of your letters will come to us no matter where we're at. Quick look at our pipeline. The dollar amount's always a little squishy. Some projects are further along in process and a little bit more secure in the number than others, but we do currently have a pipeline with a little over 100 million in anticipated projects. I'm excited that we're continuing to see activity all over the state. We actually have a couple of projects moving right now in Genesee County, a couple of projects in Calhoun County, and we've heard of projects in, I think, about 8 or 9 counties. Some of that you'll see with the jurisdictions coming up on the next slide. But we're continuing to see activity and interest grow all over the state. We've actually closed our first project, and just like 2021, it's the first project for a jurisdiction. It's actually the second part of a project that closed last year with Gunflame Township. This one closed in Kalamazoo County. And so we're continuing a trend. We think we'll continue to see new jurisdictions or more jurisdictions closing first projects. And I know, our mainstays will continue to see PACE. So we're excited for the new year. We've got interest in the pipeline across all kinds of different asset classes. Senior living is continuing. Hospitality is making a bit of a comeback, multifamily, and we're seeing a new interest in cannabis. That can be a little bit tough. I know some of the PACE lenders are not as optimistic or willing to lend to cannabis, but we're always looking for PACE lenders who are. And I will say we've had a growing pipeline in that area. New construction and retrofits are both equally represented. And I shamelessly would love to put in a plug to see more PACE Express it is a wonderful opportunity to make PACE accessible for projects below $250,000. It's an easier process and is perfect. I think we had a wonderful project last year with DO Apparel, a small commercial building that wanted to add solar. And so small solar projects are wonderful with PACE Express. While we've had a few in the pipeline, I'd love to see another 50 PACE Express projects. So PACE is continuing to expand across Michigan in a new and aggressive manner in Q1 of 2022. We're actually talking right now with 12 local governments about bringing PACE to their commercial property owners. Almost every one of those is in support of a potential project. We love to talk with new jurisdictions, and we're happy to get them stood up, enable PACE, and joining the Lean and Green Michigan market, whether or not they have a project, but is always maybe a little bit more tangible and a little more exciting for the local governments when we talk with them in tandem with a commercial property owner. So for any of you who are developing projects, if you do not see the jurisdiction green on our map on our website, feel free to reach out to us. We're happy to talk with jurisdictions about enabling PACE for the benefit of one property owner and to benefit all of their property owners after that initial project. So right now, we anticipate most of those 12 I think will join probably in Q1 or Q2, and so we'll see PACE continue to expand across Michigan, and our map will be getting updated on a regular basis. So we did want to note contractor training is something we're very proud of. We accomplished a good number of virtual contractor trainings last year, but the last couple of years with the pandemic, we've been completely remote with our contractor training. We are continue to offer the virtual training. It's always available, very easy to sign up on our website. Christian is always very happy to help you sign up and to help push you through. We are currently planning on a contractor training, an in-person one, something we've not done in a couple of years, but something we've very much heard an interest from our Michigan contractors that they would like to have an in-person training. And so we are planning it. It's a little, the date and time is a little open. Hard to plan anything in the middle of the pandemic. And so we're looking, targeting Q2, but it may slide into Q3 this year. But please keep an eye out. If you're interested in it, please let us know. Overall, we will be taking a look at our materials prior to that training, and we may be doing a bit of an update either on the virtual or just with the in-person. In particular, with the next slide for sure, if there's any changes to the Michigan PACE law, we will definitely be making necessary changes to any of our program materials and certainly to our contractor training to make sure that you have the best knowledge available and you're able to go out and find projects and help our property owners make their buildings better. So one last topic, something that we saw introduced last year and that we're hoping to see move forward this year is pending legislation at the Michigan House currently, the House Bill 5011 and 5012. These two bills we think will help PACE to continue to grow in Michigan, make PACE more accessible for our commercial property owners. The bills do a number of things. I've highlighted a couple of high points. They will clarify how new construction projects are done and actually simplify the process a little bit. More importantly, at the request of a lot of property owners who've reached out to us about doing projects, they have an interest in being able to waive the savings guarantee. Michigan statute requires a savings to investment ratio greater than 1, and for those savings to be guaranteed. And it is an extremely important element of the Michigan PACE statute and one that I think is vital in helping to protect our property owners. What we've seen in practice is a number of other states which have SIRs, savings to investment ratios, and savings guarantees have a bit more of a limited view. Ours is actually for the full term. It's a 20-year PACE loan. It is a 20-year savings guarantee. We've had a number of property owners who would prefer what they've done in other states where it's a 3-year guarantee or even just the ability to waive it at their own discretion. And so these bills would actually make it waivable on retrofits for property owners at the property owner's decision. We think that helps to continue to protect property owners and really puts them in the driver's seat in choosing how much risk and liability they would want to undertake. Finally, the bills would introduce the concept of environmental hazard projects and expand what PACE could be used to finance. We think it's important. This would allow PACE to help address some of the oncoming needs, as well as clean up some of the issues right now, whether it's contamination in water lines or making our commercial property a little bit more resilient moving forward. So we're hoping to see these bills move forward soon, and hopefully we'll see a change in PACE in Michigan. As always, feel free to reach out if you got questions about the bills, and feel free to reach out if you want to show some support, and hopefully we'll see these move forward soon. So at this point, that's the end of my presentation. We're excited about everything that we've accomplished this past year. We're excited for what we hope to accomplish this next year, and happy to entertain some questions at this point. I'm actually going to stop sharing my screen. So.
Hi, Todd.
Yeah, Howard.
Hi, my name's Howard Himmelhope. I had some experience with PACE back in 2015. Unfortunately, I was not responsible for the project that year, but I've been looking at the industry, keeping track of it. I'm just curious, you've obviously had tremendous growth for the past 2 years. What factors do you think led to that success, and what do you think may be some of the factors leading to growth in the next coming years?
I think, I've been doing PACE incidentally since 2010. Originally down in Ohio, I joined Clean and Green Michigan in 2018 and came north of the border. And what I've seen in Michigan tracks very much with the program that I worked with in Northwest Ohio. It seems with PACE that it takes a couple of years. And as you start to prove the concept, as you start to see more projects get financed, they start to feed off of themselves. Nothing generates interest in a PACE project like having one down the street close from you. And so, I think a lot of the interest this past year is just a continued trend of growth from everything that's been accomplished prior to that. We're receiving a huge benefit in that, if you look at the models of PACE nationwide, you'll see a similar growth trend. And so there are more states enabling PACE. There are more states standing programs up and getting them operational. But we've continued to see growth in PACE in Texas and Washington, D.C., Wisconsin. Illinois has a program that's moving. And so, as it becomes known, a better known quality or quantity in an item, we're continuing to see new interest from property owners. And so, I think that is a large part of the growth in the last 2 years is just, people understand what it is, and people are searching for it now in ways that they've not done in the past.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome. I see a couple of questions down the chat. For PACE Express, what is considered a small scale project? Is it based on kilowatt hours? No. Question was from Lindsay. Lindsay, we're more concerned actually at this point with dollar size, and that is because of a threshold built into the PACE statute. The savings to investment ratio and the guarantee of those savings kicks in at $250,000 and above for dollar amount of assessment. So if the assessment is $250,000 or less, we would consider it a PACE Express project. And a little bit of a simplified process in that we don't need as in-depth of energy audits. We've tried to streamline the paperwork so we're not doing multiple rounds of paperwork, and people don't need to pay attorneys too much money. As much as I love my legal brethren, we don't need to earn that much money. So we're happy to answer any questions, but it really is kind of driven based off of the dollar amount, not the amount of kilowatt hours. Any other questions? Oh, Bob, please address stormwater management. What portions might be available for PACE financing? Any case studies? Stormwater is something that we really care about. We'd really love to see it come up a little bit more often. I will say the Michigan PACE statute is written in a manner that is fairly broad in what is able to be financed, and it does include a bit of a catch-all within the definition of energy efficiency projects, to where if it is reducing a utility charge, you may be able to finance it with PACE. If you take a look at the Beltline Center case study available on our website, is a green roof project in the city of Detroit, where there is very much a stormwater charge, and they were able to offset some of that utility cost. And because of that, the green roof is essentially an energy efficiency savings. It may be a little trickier for us at this point to do that type of project in other areas of the state. I do believe if the PACE bills pass, we would be able to finance more stormwater infrastructure and more stormwater runoff projects across the state of Michigan. At this point in time, it's a little easier to do in Detroit than anywhere else. Let's see, what else do we have here? The 12 local governments that may be pursuing opt-in. Is there any LAGM to name at this time that is looking at Q1 22 yet? I will apologize a little bit. My outreach team is taking care of that a bit more than I am. I'm not sure where they're at in process, and so I don't want to scare off any of them right now. But I can tell you we've got a few in the UP, a few in the northern climes of the lower peninsula, as well as, I know the city of St. Joseph had started to consider PACE at the end of last year, and I'm continuing some conversations with them. So we're excited to see that come through. So let's see if there's any other questions. One from Jim Newman about EV charging stations. Including such items as EV charging stations and various types of cleanups that do not conserve energy makes it somewhat difficult to have SIRs. How will Michigan CPACE be handling that? It's an interesting question, Jim. And it is a little hard maybe to calculate the SIR equivalent, or the impact of an SIR from EV charging station. I would note Michigan PACE statute is unique, to the best of my knowledge, across the states, in that we do specifically allow for the funding of EV charging stations. We're proud of it. We've, I believe, financed 11 or 13 at this point. Typically, they are part of a broader project. When you're getting above the threshold requirement of $250,000 needing to justify the SIR and guarantee the savings, it's almost always easier to fund those as part of a broader project. The overall project needs to cash flow, not each individual measure. And so, if there's additional savings being generated from other items, it can be calculated into it. For projects below 250,000, you don't have to worry about the SIR. And so PACE Express for EV charging stations seems like a no-brainer for me, and we're excited to have that happen. Losing track a little bit of questions. So. Any other questions that people want to ask? All right.
Hi, Todd. Can you hear me?
Hey, Sandra. I can. How are you?
I'm good. How are you today? My question is, when you came to Reed City, Michigan, the first time I met you, the problem I'm having, because our Michigan Potash project is a huge project, the county board struggles with me trying to convince them that we need to be involved with them also. So that is why I'm on here today, because I want to work with you so that I know exactly what I'm talking about when I go to their meeting or meet with them even separately, so that they understand what we're trying to do. And they think you're going to take them to the cleaners. So I want to make that better for us. I think it'll be an easier way to make it happen.
No, definitely happy to follow up with you, Sandra, more specifically offline. I will say, I know at the time we were presenting, there's a little bit of flux within the county government at the time, and we were hoping for that to situate in that, the not trying to make the county sound bad. They were hiring a new executive director. Maybe that's not the right title at the time, and so I know, at the end of the year, I believe they've accomplished that goal, and things may have settled down a bit. So we are definitely happy to reconnect and start that process forward. Michigan Potash as a project is still one of the ones in my pipeline and one of the ones that we're most excited about. So we will be reconnecting and happy to follow up with you offline.
Well, we need to connect soon because it's happening. So just know that. So I will be contacting you after, probably this afternoon or tomorrow.
Excellent. Sounds great.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. A question from Emilio about franchise interest in solar EV charging stations and LED. They are located across several states. Do they qualify for PACE? In Michigan, yeah, EV charging stations qualify for PACE in Michigan. Just as a measure that can be financed. Now, whether or not, it's going to need to be tied to a commercial property, we're going to need to go through kind of the full due diligence. But, as long as it's on a commercial property, as long as there's enough savings, if you're getting above the $250,000 benchmark, yeah, we're very happy to see EV charging stations and hoping to see more of them come in with projects.
Thank you, Todd. I'll be in touch.
Wonderful. Yeah, feel free to reach out to any of us. Excellent. I'd like to thank everybody, anybody who has a question that they have not thought to ask yet. We're happy to follow up with you offline. Feel free to reach out to any of our team, either myself, Christian Cook, Mary Freeman, or Aaron Pattinson. We look forward to another great year of PACE in Michigan and growth of PACE across Michigan. So thank you all for coming today, and hope you have a great rest of January and great rest of 22.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.